Even now, I try to, like, I know what I'm trying to say, but it doesn't come out right away. I stumble over my words, I stutter. I just felt like something wasn't right.
Well, that woman sued her apartment management company after she says toxic mold all about ruined her life.
And an enormous verdict in that civil case got the attention of our 8 News Now investigators.
Kyle Payne joining us now live in the studio with the story of Anna Andrews and her family. And Kyle, it sounds like it all might have been, she might have actually learned something about what happened here.
Well, Brian, Denise, good evening. Anna Andrews and her 2 young kids lived in an apartment on Boulder Highway way back in 2019 for less than 3 months. They had a leak in their ceiling, but it wasn't until that ceiling came crashing down literally right on top of them that they found out that apartment living situation was not only hazardous, but horribly unhealthy.
The marshal has advised the court that the jury has a verdict.
Oh, we'll get to the verdict and all the real-life courtroom drama that led up to it. But first, let's go back to November 20th, 2019. It rained so much that day.
We're talking about water accumulation.
It made big news on Channel 8. As it flooded parts of the valley, the half-inch of rainfall broke the daily record here. And according to the one person who knows best,
blows out the entire monthly average, where we typically for the entire month get about 0.3 of an inch. We blew that out just for today only. Unbelievable.
Just as unbelievable, perhaps, as this tremendous time lapse of that day's clouds overhead. And over the roof of a building here in the Las Palomas apartments on the east side of the Las Vegas Valley, managed along with some 13,000 other apartments in California, Arizona, and Nevada by a company called Anza Management.
The ceiling started leaking. Oh, it rained like really bad.
Bad rain, says the head of the household, Anna Andrews, seen here with her family in happier times. Once upon a time, before she had her 2 kids, Andrews was a high school basketball star and played a year in college. She dreamt, she says, of being a pediatrician or a pediatric nurse. But whatever dreams she once had don't compare to her nightmare, living inside Unit 2093 in Building 12 at Las Palomas.
I tried to protect the carpet and put the containers on the floor and to catch the water.
3 nights after the rain stopped, her living room ceiling kept leaking, and Andrews went in to change the buckets that were catching all the indoor rainwater when she heard a noise.
And so as I'm like looking up or turning my head to look up, I just feel something fall on me. And I just remember being on the floor.
She was on the ground and, well, the floor.
That's Keena Matthew, Anna's daughter, who was 13 at the time.
I just remember like kind of trying to help her get up and get all the insulation and everything off. And then not even within seconds of me like trying to help her, I started to have an asthma attack.
An asthma attack attacking the teenage daughter and the living room ceiling attacking her mom. Her young son in his room trying to find his sister's inhaler and calling 911. That bedlam was the beginning of the end of the Andrews family living in Unit 2093 and the beginning of a years-long court battle with Anza Management.
This case actually is a setup. It's a setup by plaintiffs' lawyers to create a claim.
Tough talk from this defense attorney representing Anza Management, telling the jury in her opening statement,
every single one of those leaks were addressed, and they were addressed immediately.
It's not our protocol to take 20 days to respond to a work order, but when there is a reason behind it.
But the on-site property manager at the time testified that sometimes things happen.
We're not perfect as a company, I can tell you that, but there is many things that, that prevent us from doing our work.
And there was plenty of work to do on the roof and ceiling in the building in question. The jury saw this illustration of 10 ceiling and roof leak complaints dating back to 2017 and 25 water leak and mold complaints in Building 12 dating all the way back to 2014. Anna Andrews, who always felt Anza Management was ignoring her, had no idea when that leaky ceiling came crashing down that toxic mold had been hiding inside, essentially poisoning her and her family.
I just had like flu-like symptoms all the time, and like I had a cold and stuffy nose and sore throat, diarrhea.
Could you just have had the flu?
But now Andrews knew it wasn't the flu making her and her kids so sick. Her daughter Keena always had asthma, but now she was suffering from headaches and a compromised immune system. And as soon as they moved into Las Palomas, her son Javar constantly had ear and headaches. His nose was always running, his stomach always upset. But Anna Andrews got the brunt of it, as she explained from the witness stand.
How do you feel right now?
I'm not feeling good, and I'm trying to keep it together. I have a headache that I feel coming on.
A few roofing leaks does not make a mold plan.
That's Anza Management's attorney again saying Anna Andrews' symptoms and the health problems plaguing her family were just part of their plan to sue Anza Management for big money, as she explained to the jury.
For a condition that she says existed right after the incident, but for which she sought no treatment for 3 years until she saw expert witness doctors paid for by the plaintiff's lawyer that he sent her to.
The marshal has advised me that the jury has reached a verdict.
The verdict, a jury finally providing answers Anna Andrews had longed to hear.
Do you find, by a preponderance of evidence, that defendant Anza Management Company was negligent? Answer, yes. Question number 2.
Question number 2 and all the rest of the questions went in favor of Anna Andrews, and the jury ultimately awarded her and her family over $6.5 million in compensatory and punitive damages.
Well, I've been doing this for a long time, so I've seen a lot of mold in some places.
Dale Walsh is an expert on mold, one of the many witnesses who testified in this trial. He told the jury about the toxic hidden mold exposure that made Anna Andrews and her kids so sick, saying Anza Management could have done more for their tenants.
What should they have done? What would have been the proper procedure here?
Well, first of all, why are you renting a unit that leaks when it rains? Allowing that unit to be leased, not fixing the roof. You know, they kept talking about, oh, well, we fix it whenever it leaks. It's like, that's not fixed. That's like a Band-Aid.
Anza Management is asking for a new trial now. Their attorney sent me a statement that reads in part, quote, Anza Management Company believes that the jury's verdict is the result of multiple legal errors. The jury's verdict was the result of a misunderstanding about Anza's role and authority to conduct repairs at the property at issue.
So Kyle, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there wondering, could mold be where I'm living? What can people do to get some peace of mind?
Denise, one option is to shell out $300 for an environmentalist to come in and test your unit out of your own pocket. But a lot of us live paycheck to paycheck, and if you're starting to have health concerns, or let's say there's water issues, leak issues in your unit, well then you have the right as a tenant to request in writing to the property manager that they do that test on their own dime.
Ah, good. They have that right. Okay, thanks, Kyle.
Thank you.